Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at GPro Mentoring. I'm your host, Teco Bailey, and we continue with our guest speaker, Dr. Daniel Fodorean from the Baptist Theological Institute of Bucharest, as he shares on forming leader for the ministry of church planting. Dr. Fodorean, what's your encouragement to trainers of pastors who are just getting started in this area? How can you encourage them? What are some tips you can give them? Share with us.
First of all, I will say, if God put in your heart the desire to invest more and more in leaders, follow that conviction, follow that passion. I know are some obstacle inside of us. For me was, oh, I'm too young to invest in leaders. I don't have enough experience. I'm not sure if I'm very well trained for the mentoring. But I realized something. What God put in your heart, the passion, follow that passion. Especially, I'm talking about the passion and the conviction. They are biblical. And this is the first things. Second, it's about when you follow that passion, remember something very important. Leaders are so critical. The leadership is so critical for the church. And if you invest in the leaders, if you mentor leaders, you really will touch entire church, and also you will bring impact, not directly, but indirectly, you will contribute to the impact of the church in the world, in society. This means is nothing most important in the ministry than to see the people, the men of God who will impact a church, and the church who will impact the society. And looking from this perspective, the success is not measured in how many members you have. The success is measured in how many leaders you help, how many leaders you help to grow. And that is really the success. When Jesus finished his ministry, close to the crucifixion, we read about his prayer from John 17. And interesting in that prayer, Jesus looked through the success to what he done until now, looking on the disciples, because the measure of success is the leaders, the leader mentors.
Excellent. In our culture today, sometimes I feel like we are afraid of grooming leaders, because I think there's this fear sometimes that if you develop leaders, if you groom leaders, they might leave and form their own ministries or surpass you in their growth. Do you think there's some sort of fear behind wanting to groom leaders who, will do much better than technically yourself? Do you think that could be any reason why this is not happening more?
Yeah, this is true. The fear, I think it's an important factor why the pastor, the existing leadership are not training the new leaders. But looking from a different perspective, I think the Bible answered to this fear. And looking to Barnabas and Paul, what's happened with Barnabas and Paul? Barnabas, he was the mentor. Paul, he was the mentoree. Their process of mentoring reached a point where Paul and Barnabas was in disagreement. What's happened? Barnabas moved in a different direction and invest in John Mark. And Paul move in a different direction. And on the scripture, we have very well described there, Timothy was recruited by Paul to be his mentor. This means to separate, to go in different directions. I think that is not the issue. Investing in others, even the fact of starting new ministries or new churches, even this fact, it's I'm looking as a benefit. The church will multiply. The ministry will multiply. Yes. In an intentional and calm way, or sometimes through struggle or struggles, will multiply the ministry. This means, I think, everything can be put in a good light if we have a sincere desire to see leaders not like us, but to see leaders like Christ. And Christ-like leadership, that is, I think, the central issue and the key in mentoring others.
Well, thanks again, Dr. Fodorean, for just encouraging those who are wanting to serve in this field, wanting to grow in this field, wanting to develop themselves in church leadership as they continue to grow. These are some excellent responses, and thanks for giving us a sense of what this area was like for you. We'll definitely have a couple questions coming in on the live call, which will be taking place tomorrow, Friday. So for those of our viewers here watching this, remember tomorrow we have the live call on Friday where you get to speak with Dr. Fodorean. So jot down a few questions that you have. So when you're there, hopefully they can be answered. Again, it was a pleasure speaking with you. And I hope the listeners have gained from this. This is GPro Mentoring, and I'm Teco Bailey. Do remember to check out our resources on gprolearning.org and sign up to our social media platforms on Facebook or Instagram. Thanks again for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.